Shalom, my name is Adam Wasser from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York. In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Festival of Purim. Not the whole story, but parts of it that I find very interesting. The story of Purim takes place after the first temple was destroyed and before the second temple was rebuilt. The story of Purim takes place in ancient Persia, which is now in western southern Iran. The story of Purim is about a woman, a Jewish woman, who had to disguise herself as a non-Jew, marry the king, the most powerfulest king in the world, Ahasuerus, and have to live with the fact that Haman, who was one of the top leaders of the time in Persia, wanted to kill the Jewish people. And she was able to save the Jews from almost annihilation. One of the interesting story, and there's a lot of details in this story, one of the things that people might ask is, why did Jews wear costumes on Purim? Why do you cover up your faces? Well, during this time, the Jewish people were invited to a festival. Ahasuerus, the king, said everybody was invited to this festival, this dinner, and there was not kosher wine, there was not kosher food there, and the Jews came to the festival and they ate, they drank, they wanted to fit in. You have to remember that in these days, the Jews did not know what was going to happen to them. They weren't even sure if they would survive. You know, they lost the temple, they lost their country, so they participated as if they were just anybody else. That and the fact that Queen Esther was married to the king and he didn't even know she was Jewish, we use this as a symbolic gesture that we cover our faces, we dress up on Purim to remember that we hid during this time, that we didn't show ourselves. Another interesting thing is that when Queen Esther found out about Haman's evil plot to kill the Jewish people and annihilate them, she fasted. And when she fasted, the children of Mordechai's yeshiva also fasted. And it says that the mothers of the yeshiva came to the children and like, why are you fasting? Why are you doing this? Don't do this, you'll hurt yourself. And the children stood up and they said, for Israel, we have to do this. We have to be leaders. It's known that it's not necessarily Jewish people who saved themselves. It was Queen Esther and the boys of this yeshiva that saved their lives, saved the entire Jewish world. We learned that this is the first time the Jewish people were actually called Jews, because they were from the tribe of Yehuda, Benjamin, Shimon, and Levi. And before that they were called Yisrael. Now they were being called Jews. We learn also from Purim that this was a time where God was actually going to destroy the people of Israel. Now, we say, how could that be? Because during the time of Moses, he said, you'll be my people forever. Yes, God said this during the time of Moses, but he didn't say that you would be around forever. You'd be the people, the chosen people, but he didn't define that you would actually survive. After the Festival of Purim, after Queen Esther fasted and God decided to save the Jewish people, he said, from now on, you will be around forever. I won't ever destroy you, call Israel. And this was the defining moment when the Jewish people knew that their future was certain. It might be a rough future, but they would survive. Before this, we didn't know what was going to happen. You know, Purim has many beautiful things about it. Like, here's a heroic for women. A heroic woman here in Judaism saves the day, is willing to give her life up to save an entire people, to save children when nobody else could. And there's another thing. Why do we drink? It's a funny thing. Not today. Many Jews don't drink on Purim. Most Jews do drink, and the idea is that you should be able to tell the difference between Haman and Mordechai, good and evil. And some people say, well, why can't you use drugs or just be festive? And there's a lot of Kabbalic and Hasidus meaning behind the drinking idea, because you're really supposed to. Back then, a lot of times the alcohol got people into trouble, as it does today, but it's mentioned in the story of Purim quite often, and that the Jews, drinking that non-kosher wine during the festival. So the drinking of the wine, alcohol, is also a symbolic meaning of what happened in the past that we should remember. But if you don't want to drink, it's fine. It's a mitzvah, but it's not the end of the world, and there are other ways that you can have fun. Anyways, I pray and hope that everyone has a wonderful Purim, and that it should be a time of our coming of our redemption, and that we shall all be united. We give shalok manas, gift baskets. You're supposed to give out at least 3. One to a friend, one to the homeless, and I believe one to a poor neighbor. And that is your mitzvah, giving, because charity is a big thing during Purim, and there's many ways of giving charity during Purim. But it's that idea that we almost lost everything. But because we're a family, because we stay united, we survive. If we're not united, we will suffer. And I think this is a great time to push for our redemption, to push for Mashiach now, and to try to help. Rosh Hashanah is about forgiveness, forgiving my neighbor, and they should forgive me, But Purim is also, in that respect, a time for just letting things go. What happened in the past is the past. Let's move on for a better future. God bless you all. A Freilich Purim, a happy Purim to everybody. And remember, when drinking, look both ways.